She could always tell who'd cry before the needle even touched the gum line, the twitch of an eyelid, a sudden gulp, that shaky little laugh people did when they were seconds from unraveling. It was easier now to see it coming. Easier to pretend she didn't enjoy being the calm one in the room. The gloves snapped, that sharp, elastic bite of nitrile, and Ava felt it like punctuation, not a period. A warning. "Mr. Cohen?" she called into the waiting room, her voice all sugary professionalism. The man who stood up wasn't Mr. Cohen. Wrong age, wrong shoes. Too relaxed. He wore charcoal jeans that cost more than her rent, and a Henley she'd bet he didn't iron himself, but he walked toward her like he belonged here. "Actually," he said, smiling with a kind of sheepish charm that had probably gotten him out of parking tickets. Tom called her. My appointment's at 4:15. Root canal." "Right, root canal." Ava checked the iPad she held like a shield. His name glowed in digital ink. "Confirmed." She smiled. "A good one. Professional, unrevealing. Come on back." She turned before he could say anything else. The sound of her low heels tapping against tile floors was the only answer he got. She liked the dental clinic. It was sterile. Predictable. Nobody flirted with their hygienist mid-procedure. Nobody asked her to call them a car or pour them another glass of Dom while they talked about their broken marriages. Patients came in scared and left numb. It was the closest thing to peace she'd ever known. Ava watched Tom as he settled into the reclined chair, eyes flitting across the overhead light, the tray of tools, the suction hose. The quiet apprehension of a man about to be exposed, not metaphorically, just molars. He caught her watching and smiled again. "You know," he said, "I hate this stuff." "You're not special," she replied, snapping on a fresh pair of gloves. He chuckled. "That obvious, huh?" She shrugged. "You flinched at the drill. So yeah." Dr. Peters walked in just then. Cheerful, balding, 72 years old, and counting down the days to retirement. He glanced at Tom's chart and gave Ava the signal. Light sedation, no drama expected. Tom talked through the Novocaine, about his ex-wife, about selling his tech firm, about how he was figuring things out and maybe taking a year to travel. Bali maybe, or Lisbon. The usual rich boy soul-searching itinerary. Ava smiled when appropriate, nodded when necessary. But something tightened in her stomach every time his eyes lingered too long. They always said the same thing when they stared at her. "You feel familiar." When the procedure was over, Tom sat up slowly, rubbing his jaw. "Thanks," he mumbled through the numbness. "You were really good." "Don't talk," Ava said, pulling off her gloves and tossing them into the bin. "It'll only hurt." His gaze followed her as she walked out of the room. That night, the city was loud in the way only forgotten neighborhoods could be. Dogs barking in alleys, teenagers vaping in parked cars, a drunk couple fighting about who forgot the keys. Ava stood outside her building, fumbling with the door code when the mail slot creaked open behind her. Envelope, no address, no return label, just her name. She took it upstairs, tossed it on the counter, poured a glass of tap water, and stared at it while the TV played a rerun of a cooking show she'd seen 3 times already. For 10 minutes she didn't move, then she opened it. One photograph, glossy, folded once, like a secret. Her face 5 years younger, same cheekbones, red lips. That dress, the one from the Waldorf suite. She'd been laughing in the photo, off camera, eyes focused on a man she no longer remembered, but had definitely once faked desire for. The note was short. "Still playing receptionist?" No signature, no mistake. Her pulse went ice cold. She checked her door, locked. Windows? Secure. Laptop camera? already taped over. Old habit. Then she sat on the floor, photo in her lap, note like a blade pressed between her ribs. Ava hadn't cried in years. Not really. But something sharp and small started to rise in her chest. Not fear. Not yet. Something worse. Recognition. The next morning, Tom was back. Walked in with that same easy grin and a bouquet of drugstore flowers. "Here for a cleaning," he said, eyes scanning hers like he was looking for something. "Figured I'd get everything done at once." Ava didn't flinch, didn't blink, just smiled. The good one, the kind that ends conversations. But this time, it didn't work. He leaned across the counter slightly, lowering his voice like a man who thinks secrets sound better when whispered in coffee breath. "You feel familiar," he said. "Have we met before?" She met his gaze dead on. "No," she said. "I'd remember." And this time it was his smile that faltered. The clinic smelled like bleach and cinnamon gum. Ava sat behind the reception desk, pretending to scroll through appointment confirmations, but her eyes kept drifting to the lobby monitor. Tom was 10 minutes late. 10 minutes was enough to wonder if the envelope had scared him off, or warned him away, or worse, had nothing to do with him at all. She hated this part, the not knowing. Suspicion was easy. It had texture, bite. But doubt? Doubt was a slow bleed. The glass doors swung open. Tom strolled in like guilt didn't have his name on it. A soft green shirt stretched over his frame, sleeves rolled just enough to suggest forearms and effortlessness. He had that just-showered look, expensive cologne doing the subtle kind of damage only well-practiced charm can do. "You changed your hair," he said casually, sliding sunglasses onto the collar of his shirt. "Looks good." She hadn't. Not really. She just wore it differently today. Tighter bun, no lipstick, earrings small enough to forget. "I'm observant," he added, as if that excused noticing. Ava didn't respond. Just buzzed him through and said, "Third chair on the left. Nora's waiting." He lingered, like he wanted to say something else, or like he was testing the air between them. But eventually he moved, and Ava breathed again. That night she didn't go home. She went there, a place she hadn't touched in over 2 years. A storage unit off Sepulveda, wedged between a vape shop and a martial arts studio that smelled like sweat and teenaged testosterone. Unit number 309, same lock, same metallic sigh when the door rolled up. Inside, a past packed in banker's boxes. The top one was labeled receipts, but that was a lie. It held wigs, flash drives, makeup palettes the color of other people's lives. Underneath, contracts. Another lie. Photos, paperwork, a burner phone, dead, but intact. Ava sat cross-legged on the cold concrete floor, dust coating the back of her jeans, and opened the bottom box. This one was unlabeled. Inside, the dress from the photograph. Still red, still ruinous, she held it to her face like it might still smell like desperation and Dior. Then she reached for the flash drives, plugged one into her laptop, which she hadn't used for this purpose in years, and scrolled. Files, folders, client initials, dates, passwords. Her system was organized, efficient, like she was still proud of it. Then she found it. TC. Her breath caught. Tom called her. Her fingers hovered. Then clicked. 3 entries, all from 6 years ago. 2 hotel names. 1 note. Prefers no eye contact. Asks for silent stirring. Tips well. Drinks whiskey like it's a religion. She remembered now. The quiet ones always took longer to surface. She closed the file. slammed the laptop shut like that could undo what she'd just found. Tom had known her, hired her, and now he was pretending otherwise. Or he really didn't remember. She didn't know which was worse. At 2:13 a.m., her phone buzzed. Unknown number. A text. "The red dress still fits?" She dropped the phone. It clattered to the hardwood floor, screen up, message glowing like something radioactive. Her stomach turned. This wasn't random. It wasn't just Tom. It was someone else, someone watching. She texted back. "Who is this?" No answer. In the morning, the coffee shop felt too bright. Ava sipped her burnt latte, sunglasses on, hoodie zipped high. Across the table, Danny stirred her espresso with a cocktail straw, a nervous tic she'd had since the first week they met at the agency. Danny hadn't done a job in 4 years, but she still looked like she could destroy a man in under 5 minutes using only her heels and half a smile. "You think it's him?" she asked. Ava shrugged. "He's either lying or forgetting, or someone's playing both of us." "You kept records?" Danny asked, raising an eyebrow. "Of course I did." "Jesus, Ava." She didn't respond. Danny leaned back. "Okay, let's say it's not him. Who'd want to drag you back into this?" Ava didn't answer right away. Her fingers traced the rim of the coffee lid like it held secrets. "Someone I pissed off. Someone who doesn't like loose ends." "You weren't a loose end." "I quit," Ava said. "That's enough for some people." Danny sipped. "You should disappear, like for real this time." Ava shook her head. "If someone's watching me now, running only makes it fun for them." "So what? You stay and wait for the next envelope?" "No," she said, eyes flicking up, steady now. "I make them come to me." Back at the clinic, she changed her routine, checked the cameras, monitored the door, moved the fake plant 2 inches left, enough to see if someone touched it. When Tom came in the next week, she didn't smile. "You're early," she said, handing him the clipboard. He grinned. "Maybe I just like your company." "Maybe you should try therapy." That stopped him. A flicker of something across his face. Irritation? Confusion? "You're in a mood today," he said. Tone light, but posture stiffening. Ava leaned in slightly over the counter, dropped her voice so it curled just between them. "You ever lie so much you forget which version of you is real?" He blinked. "What?" "Nothing," she said, smiling the sharp kind. "Just checking if you flinch." And he did. That night, another envelope. No note this time, just another photo. This one, Ava walking out of Tom's apartment building. Not from years ago, from last week. There's a specific kind of silence that lives inside Ava's apartment now. Not the peaceful kind, not even the sad kind. May the Parpin. No, this silence hums. It listens. It watches. Nor heal. It knows your schedule better than you do. And Ava can feel it in the walls. She hasn't turned the TV on in 3 days. She walks through each room like she's being filmed. Back straight, robe closed, curtains drawn, but even with every precaution, she still flinches when the kettle clicks off. The 3rd envelope changes everything. Not because of what's inside, another photo, yes, but because of what's not. No note, no taunt, no game, just a timestamp printed in the bottom right corner. April 12th, 11:47 p.m. It's her, exiting the building, alone, her head down, same coat she wore last week when Tom invited her in for a drink she pretended not to want. She hadn't stayed. She'd smiled, lied, left. But this? This was someone saying, "I was there anyway. She knows who to call, or rather, who not to. No cops, no clinics, no men who call women sweetheart in emails. She calls the woman who once taught her how to read body language by watching poker tournaments on mute. Romy. They meet in a bar where no one asks questions and everyone's on probation for something. Romy slides into the booth like she's still wearing 5-inch heels, even though she's in sneakers and a zip-up that smells faintly of bleach. "You look like shit," she says. "I've been nostalgic," Romy snorts. "You're gonna have to narrow that down. Creepy nostalgic, or should I text him nostalgic?" "Someone's watching me," Ava says, "sending photos." Romy's eyes go still, not scared, just sharp. "You sure it's not Tom?" "No, but I found his file." "The one from the Waldorf?" 3 bookings, 6 years ago. He liked silence and kept his eyes shut the whole time. "So he might not remember you." Ava laughs, bitter and dry. "No one forgets me, Romy. Not the version they paid for." They sip in silence. The jukebox plays something tragic. Someone yells near the pool table. Then Romy leans in. "You know who else had a thing for hotel rooms and red dresses?" she says, voice low. Ava doesn't answer. She already knows. "Brady." Of course it's Brady. He was the kind of client who smelled like soap and smoked like guilt, the one who booked the same suite every time. Room 812. Like it was his version of church. He never touched her. Not really. He talked, asked questions, took notes like he was studying her for a test she never got to take. She thought he was lonely. Turns out he was archiving her. The drive to Brady's last known address takes 45 minutes and one panic attack Ava refuses to name. She wears a ball cap and sunglasses. She brings no ID, no purse, no trace of her current life. The apartment is in a building that looks like it's being held together by regret and termite droppings. She remembers it. Barely. Once, he'd asked her to walk him home. He said it made him feel real. She rings 3B. No answer. She doesn't expect one. But someone opens the lobby door on their way out, and Ava slips in without blinking. Inside, the hallway stinks of microwave noodles and expired ambition. She knocks. Once, twice. Then Brady opens the door. And for one horrifying moment, he looks happy to see her. "Ava," he breathes. "God. You look. Don't." He steps aside. She walks in. His apartment is cleaner than expected. Books stacked by topic. A mug that says, "Data is sexy" in Comic Sans. A Polaroid camera on the table. She points to it. "Still playing photographer?" Brady flinches. "It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think." He holds up his hands, peace offering style. "I didn't send the first photo." "You sent the second?" "I didn't send any of them, but I saw them. Someone showed me." Ava's chest goes tight. "Who?" He looks pained, guilty, ashamed, and she hates that he's still handsome in that sad boy way that never actually goes out of style. "I think it's Carter," Brady says. Her spine stiffens. "No," she says. "He's dead." Brady shakes his head. "That's what the agency said. But I've seen him, or someone using his name. Last month. Same profile. Different city. Booking girls who look like you." Ava's blood runs cold. "Why tell me now?" she asks. Brady meets her gaze. "Because someone asked me to keep an eye on you, and I can't do it anymore." Later, back at home, Ava pulls out the final flash drive, the one labeled emergency. Inside, one name, one video, one client list that was supposed to be deleted 3 years ago. She stares at it, then at herself in the mirror. She looks like the woman she used to be, tired, brilliant, venom in her veins and poetry on her tongue. She whispers to her reflection, voice low, cruel, and honest. "Smile, sweetheart. You've got an audience again. There's a difference between being watched and being seen." Ava had always known the difference. One is voyeurism, anonymous, safe, distant. The other is intimacy, the kind that strips you down and doesn't care if you look good under the light. Brady had watched her. Carter, if he was really alive, had filmed her. But Tom? Tom was starting to see her, and that was the most dangerous thing of all. Do you ever think about how many lies we tell every day just to make it through one conversation? Ava asked. She said it over dinner. Not a date. Technically, Tom had stopped by the clinic earlier with an excuse about needing a second opinion on his bite alignment. Dr. Peters was out, so Ava said, "I can take a look," even though she'd rather run barefoot across a freeway. He didn't ask questions, just followed her into the exam room, sat down in the chair like it was a confessional. Now they were here. Thai food, candlelight, jazz buzzing from someone's cracked window down the street. Tom smiled, and this time, it didn't feel like a weapon. "I think people lie to survive." She nodded. "And sometimes, to stay hidden." He studied her. That soft, terrible way he had. Not like he was trying to seduce her, just understand her. "Can I tell you something?" he said. Ava's fingers tightened around her wine glass. "Do I want to hear it?" He laughed softly. "Probably not, but I think you should." Tom's truth wasn't the one she expected. It wasn't "I remember you." It wasn't "I'm the one sending the photos." It was worse. "I was in love with someone once," he said. "Before the divorce. Before all of this." Ava raised an eyebrow. "And you're telling me because—" "She looked like you," he said. "Not just the face, the way you carry yourself. Like you're always walking away from something." Her throat went dry. "What happened?" she asked. He looked down. "She left. No warning. Just disappeared." "Did you deserve that?" Tom didn't answer right away. Then, "Maybe. I was married at the time." Ah, there it was. Another man who wanted the fantasy without paying the bill. "And you think I remind you of her?" Ava said. "I don't know what you are," he said, "but I keep showing up here, getting procedures I don't need, because I can't stop wanting to figure it out." Ava smiled. "Not the good one, the other one. The one that says, you should have left it alone. Curiosity's how most people get killed in noir films," she said. "Then I'll die interesting," he replied. Later, after the food was boxed and the wine bottle drained, she sat on the edge of his couch, watching him fumble for a jazz playlist. Like this wasn't the part where everything came undone. Her phone buzzed. Another text. Unknown number. Again. "You're getting sloppy." Just that. Ava stood suddenly. "I should go," she said. Tom blinked, surprised. "Did I say something wrong?" "No," she said, grabbing her coat. "You just said something true." He followed her to the door. "Let me walk you out," he said. She hesitated, then nodded. Outside, the air was warm, thick with LA night, diesel and jasmine, like beauty trying to survive inside pollution. Tom stood close, too close. "You never answered my question," he said. "What question?" "Have we met before?" Ava looked at him, really looked, and saw the ache behind his smile, and for a moment she thought about telling the truth. Instead, she leaned in, pressed her lips to his cheek, let the warmth of him pool around her like a risk she could almost afford. "Good night, Tom," she whispered, then walked away. The next morning she walked into the clinic like a woman on a countdown. She barely got her bag behind the desk when Dr. Peters popped his head out of the back room. "Emergency walk-in," he said. "Implant issue. Room 2. You're assisting." Ava nodded, pulled gloves from the box, snapped them on. The patient was already reclined, sunglasses on, paper bib fastened. A man. Older. Gray hair buzzed short. Neat. Forgettable in the way only someone trying to be forgettable could be. Her stomach dropped. It wasn't Carter, but it was someone she knew. Mr. Lancaster. One of her regulars, years ago. Favorite request. "Talk to me like I'm your husband, but you hate me." He hadn't booked her since the pandemic. She assumed he'd retired, or died, or found Jesus. But now he was here, pretending not to know her. She leaned in to adjust the chair and whispered, just loud enough for him to hear, "You shouldn't be here." He didn't flinch, just smiled. Dr. Peters came in, cheery and oblivious. "Let's take a look at that implant, shall we?" Ava kept her face neutral. Professional. But inside, her mind was a hurricane. She didn't need Lancaster to say anything. He already had. Just by showing up. At lunch, she opened her locker and found a folded napkin inside, from the clinic break room. On it, written in blocky printed letters. "One of them remembers everything, and they want you back." No name, no signature, but something scrawled at the bottom like a fingerprint. 812. Room number, the Waldorf Suite, the place Carter always booked, the place Ava once lost a piece of herself she never got back. That night, she didn't go home. She didn't call Tom. She didn't text Donnie or Romy. She drove downtown, past the vape shops, past the bachelorette parties in pedicabs, past the facade of safety LA put on after dark. The Waldorf still stood, renamed, renovated, but still there. She walked through the lobby like a ghost looking for the body she left behind, and when the elevator doors closed around her, Ava felt it. The shift, the click, the way old lives wait for you just behind the mirrors. Room 812. She knocked once. Then again. The door opened, and Carter was standing there. Alive, smiling, like he'd been expecting her all along. The room smelled like time hadn't passed. Not decay, not dust, but memory, expensive cologne, candle wax, sweat behind velvet drapes. Someone's trying to resurface the past, piece by piece. "And they're using Carter as bait," Romy said. "But what's the hook?" Ava closed her eyes, thought of the envelopes, the timestamps, the text messages. Then she remembered. 812. Not the room number, the file name. She raced home, opened the emergency flash drive, scrolled. There it was. A folder, 812. Inside, videos, dozens, not just hers, other women, faces blurred, but she knew the names, the voices, the stories. She was never the only one. But now, someone was trying to make her the face of it all. That night, her buzzer rang. She froze. It was after midnight. She didn't move. Then her phone buzzed. Unknown number. "You have 24 hours. Then the file goes live." One link. No explanation. She clicked it. It led to a private server, password protected, but the page title chilled her blood. "Off the Clock, the Real Lives of Working Girls." She closed the laptop, called Romy. "We're not being watched. she said. Romy's voice was quiet. What then? Ava stared at her reflection in the darkened window. There's no mirrors, because we're the ones meant to look. Some betrayals unfold slowly, like tea steeping, like lipstick staining the rim of a wineglass left behind on purpose. This wasn't one of those. This one detonated. The file went live at 3:07 a.m. Ava knew the exact minute because she woke up without knowing why, the way animals feel earthquakes before the ground splits. Her phone was already vibrating. Romy, texting in all caps. It's up. It's public. Links everywhere. It's her. Ava didn't need to ask who. She already knew. Amanda, dental hygienist, yoga evangelist, clinic's gossip queen, and Ava's shadow for the last 6 months. She remembered now, the way Amanda always seemed to be watching when no one else was. The way her questions weren't questions, just velvet-wrapped scalpels. Do you ever miss the glamour? What would you do if someone recognized you? You ever feel like people only like the version of you they paid for? At the time, Ava thought it was idle curiosity, but Amanda had been recording her, stitching together a narrative, curating a confession Ava never gave. And now the internet had it, not just a photo, a montage, blurry hotel hallway footage, edited audio, a grainy still of Ava's red dress from behind, like a ghost caught mid-exit. The title? Off the Clock, The Woman Behind the Smile. It looked like a documentary. It felt like a reckoning. By 8 a.m., Ava had 37 missed calls, 2 from Romy, 1 from Carter, the rest unknown. No word from Tom, not yet, but when she walked into the clinic, the silence nearly split her in half. The front desk was empty. Dr. Peters wasn't in. And Amanda's locker had been cleared out, gone, just like that. No note, no trace, just legacy. By noon, her name was trending, not Ava, but the alias someone had attached to her voice. Scarlet, red dress, red lips, always red. There were think pieces already, the morality of reinvention in the digital age, why sex work still haunts women more than men, confession or coercion, the ethics of off the clock. Ava sat in her car, engine running, hands clenched on the wheel. The parking lot buzzed with ordinary life, grocery carts, strollers, someone screaming at a Bluetooth headset. But inside the vehicle, everything had stopped. Everything except her pulse. She called Tom, straight to voicemail, second time, same. She didn't leave a message. Instead, she drove, not to Romy's, not to Carter. She went to the apartment, his 4th floor, south-facing windows, the one she never let herself sleep in. He answered on the first knock. His eyes were tired, not angry, not sad, just tired. "Come in," he said. She didn't. "Did you know?" she asked. His brow furrowed. "About what?" Her voice was steady. "That I wasn't just your dental receptionist." A pause. Then, "I guessed." Her lungs went still. "I didn't know how," he added, "but I knew something was locked." "About you, like you were walking on top of something fragile. And you kept coming back anyway." He nodded. "I wanted to be near it. Even if it cut me." She exhaled slowly. "Well, here we are." They stood in silence, the hallway humming with the buzz of fluorescent lights and things unsaid. Finally, he stepped closer. "I don't care," he said. "Whatever that video says, whatever the world thinks it knows. I don't care. She blinked. You should. I can't. He reached for her hand. Not to pull, not to persuade, just to offer. And for the first time in months, maybe years, Ava let someone hold her. Really hold her. Later, she sat across from Romy at a diner with terrible coffee and excellent anonymity. So, Romy said, sliding her phone over, here's the good news. The screen showed a blacklisting forum, a pinned post. Off the clock, content removed. Pulled under copyright, Romy said. Someone on the inside flagged it. Might have been Carter, might have been one of the girls. Doesn't matter. It's gone. And the bad news? Romy shrugged. Too late. Mirror sites, screen recordings. You know the drill. The internet never forgets. It just changes rooms. Ava nodded. She didn't cry, didn't scream. She just sat there and sipped her burnt coffee like it was penance. So what now? Romy asked. Ava looked out the window. The city didn't care. People kept walking, laughing, lying, buying lattes with stolen joy. What now? Now, Ava rents a studio above a boxing gym in Echo Park. She works mornings at the clinic, afternoons with Romy, helping others disappear without vanishing. Her red dress is gone, but she kept the shoes. Sometimes on nights when the city is too quiet, she plays jazz and walks barefoot across the floor, pretending the room is full of mirrors again. Not because she wants to watch herself, but because she wants to see the woman she survived becoming. And sometimes, just before sleep, she imagines Tom's voice, not asking for the truth, not demanding her past. Just one question, soft and impossible. Do you remember me yet? And she whispers back, yes. And I remember me too.